hosted by Film Association of Nagaland and supported by the Directorate of Public Department of Women Resource Development, Department of Art and Culture, Task Force Music Association, and Nagaland State AIDS Control Society. We would like to felicitate the two filmmakers who have joined us from IAWRT, Nupur Basu and Deepika Sharma, to please come up on stage. I also request our fan General Secretary Te to kindly do the felicitation. With IAWRT members at 4 o'clock. So now I would like to invite Nupur Basu to kindly share a few words.
Absolutely overwhelmed to be in Kohima. It's really sad, and it's my fault entirely that this is my first visit and I am over 60 years old, so I really ought to have been here before. It is such a historic place that like from yesterday I've been telling Naro, we have to visit the war memorial, we have to do this, we have to do that. Poor girl is like, trying to figure out where all we are going to go. But just to say that it's a huge pleasure to be in this very historic town of yours. And thank you to the Film Federation of Nagaland, which has organized this along with TaFMA. The TaFMA director is here, we met as we entered, for giving us this lovely space to make this travelling festival of IAWRT happen. So IAWRT, as Kete said earlier, is an organization, it's an international organization of women in film, radio and television. It was started in 1956 by a bunch of Norwegian women who were in radio at that time. And they started it, so you can imagine, and then since then it has carried on uninterrupted. Our membership internationally is around 500 women, and the India chapter itself has now claimed 1/5 of that membership, because we are almost touching 100, I believe. Our managing trustee, Aparna, will be here a little later. She's already reached Dimapur, Aparna Sanyan. And Deepika, who's also on the board and has been on the board earlier with me, is here. And she and Aparna will be holding a very interesting panel discussion today for all those of you who are studying this media scene, want to be filmmakers and wondering where the money is going to come from, where it is finally going to find screening place. This panel will be just wonderful to listen to them, because they are both also working in the OTT space. As you know, that is now the space where whatever film you're going to make, or series, or documentaries will hopefully arrive there. Talking about independent documentaries and the need for it, I'll just say a few words. Why in IAWRT we have carried on despite all the hurdles that we have with funding and all sorts of other things that come our way, like a tsunami, like when COVID happened. We've had uninterrupted festivals. This year in March we had our 20th festival, 20th edition. And it was just wonderful to celebrate that landmark year of 20 years of works of just Asian women directors exclusively. So you can be an Asian woman director based in the US or Canada or UK, anywhere, or in the region itself. Your work is eligible for this. Only once in these 20 years, one man has breached the festival, and that too because we got confused and his name was Minnie. And when he arrived there, we saw, and then we said, what do we do? And he said, doesn't matter, let Minnie screen his film, So that was an interesting moment for us. But yes, it is an exclusive space for women filmmakers to show that. It is non-competitive. We purposely kept it non-competitive, not that we can't raise money for a prize money, but we just feel that everybody's work is equally important. And the festival that we have brought here to you with the help of FAN is, you will see the 14 films that you will get to see here. You'll see the variety of theme and the thematic variety, the passion with which each film has been crafted. And then also remember the struggle of these filmmakers to actually take it forward. In independent filmmaking, what happens is not everybody is able to put these works on OTT, right? So what happens to these works? I mean, the one thing that we can do is carry them on our back. And now the Velvet Revolution, which I directed along with Deepika and 4 other women, it was a collaborative project made in 2017. It's about the increasing attacks on women journalists. Do come to see it tomorrow and do be here for the next 2 days watching all the films. But just to say that I've carried that film on my back across 250 locations across the world, starting from all the cities in India, in Colombo, in Kathmandu, in New York, in London, in Turkey, in Jordan. I don't mean to show off here, but literally we have done that, taken it to all these venues and had a screening and talked about the issue of attacks on women journalists. So it's like it's almost like you make the film with so much of hardship, because there's funding problems, there's putting it together, all the creative problems that come with it. All of you know, many of you are working in studios, making films. What happens? And then after that, distribution, there's nobody to distribute it. So you are actually going physically from place to place, showing the film and talking to audiences. It's an amazing experience. I will not discount it in any way, but it's also not something, and for somebody like me who's been in television, and we discovered last night that Naro, Deepika and I, all 3 of us were in NDTV. Of course, we are intergenerational, so, I was there certain years, they were there certain years. In prime time television, I did one report and it would be seen by 1 million people. Whereas, where do we have this kind of viewership for our documentary films? And I'll end with just saying the importance of having these festivals, making these documentaries, is because mainstream media, from where I come, and I've worked for 35 years, first as a print journalist and then a television journalist, is that the space for actual storytelling, unbiased, unfiltered, non-fake news. I'm sure all of you seated here will agree that that space has vanished. And what we are seeing in the name of news on 80 news channels is a lot of just opinion and bias, and that to a lot of right-wing bias. I'm not saying that left-wing bias is great, but no bias. We all know that news was supposed to have been unfiltered, it was supposed to have been unbiased. We have run away from that regime. People are just sitting in the studio and just talking about an opinion that they have. Usually it's fake. Nobody is going to the ground. A documentary filmmaker cannot make a film without going to the spot, going to that area, following a theme or a subject with passion. And I can tell you, Nagaland is a host of stories, which many of you seated here, I hope, you will pursue, and we will get to see those documentary films. I've already made a list of some of the films that people have made here, and which I'm just going to go back and watch. I have so much of reading to do when I get back. I'm going back from Kohima on the 4th. It's a very short trip, but I promise I'll be back. And I'm here with you for the next 2 days, and I'd love to talk to you all individually. I just want to say a big thank you to Naro, who wears 2 hats. She is also an IAWRT member, and also she's the president of FAN. And I think it really helps to have this kind of synergy. I think we've been able to put this thing together because she has brought her passion in marrying these two, and you have the festival in front of you. It's lovely to see you all here, and I really hope I'll interact with you over the next 2 days. Thank you so much.
Now, next, we have a musical artist to present us with a song. So I invite Evan and Sean to please come up on stage.
Kau banget pantuni bila lu teter Dalang manong sendong dulu kebo ninajak sawadan contender. You say there's so much you don't know. You need to go and find yourself. You said you'd rather be alone, 'cause you think you will find it tied to someone else. Who said it's true that the growing only happens on your own? They don't know me and you. I don't think you ever leave. If a change is what you need, you can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the low. You can ebb and I can flow, and we'll take it slow and grow as we go. Grow as we go. You won't be the only one. I am unfinished, I got so much left to learn. I don't know how the river runs, but I like the company through every twist and turn. Who said it's true that the growing only happens on your own? They don't know me and you. I don't think you have to leave. If a change is what you need, you can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the low. You can ebb and I can flow, and we'll take it slow and grow as we go. Grow as we go. I don't think you have a lead. If a change is what you need, you can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the low. You can ebb and I can flow, and we'll take it slow and grow as we go. Grow as we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne and Sean. And now I invite Fan President Yapangnaro Longkumer to share a few words about the festival.
It gives me so much pleasure to see familiar faces, new faces as well. So I want to welcome you to this two-day film festival. The journey of this film festival, I think Nupur has sort of explained how that year they gave Nagaland and Hyderabad to sort of have these two traveling film festivals. So when they gave Nagaland, we knew that if we went it alone, it would just be a small screening for a few of us because the funds were very tight. So we decided maybe, talk to like-minded departments and see if they would come on board. So our first port of call is always the IPR. They have been with us from the beginning and always supported our organization. And without any hesitation, they sort of helped us. So we thank them for really supporting us. For TaFMA, when we went to meet them, I think what they said was, we are here to make your lives easier. And they sort of, helped us with this hall, with the logistics, and thank you so much for that as well. For the Director of Human Resource Development, it was the first time we sort of interacted with him, and without any hesitation, he was like, this is, I can help you in a little way. And though he's not here, he's out of town, I think, seeking with his wife and child, but he has sent his support and always saying that, wishing us well. For art and culture as well, she's out of town, but she made sure that, we got her support. And with NSEX, I think they saw that our goals aligned in reaching out to people, so they were on board, and I think during the break we're going to screen their public service announcements so that, people are a little bit more aware. So we thank all of them for coming on board. The same thing with what Nupur was saying, the idea of having film festivals is to hear the other voices, to hear alternative voices that are coming out. We have access to so much mainstream media, and for people who sort of want to have, see some other voices, alternate voices, documentaries or films made by independent filmmakers seem to be it. And for us, with lots of our members, many of us will never get to go outside and attend film festivals where we can have access to these films, see these films. So it gives us so much pleasure to be able to bring the films to us at our doorstep where we can watch them. And I know filmmakers in Nagaland, we get a lot of flack for saying that, our films are not in the festival or they are not out there. But the thing is, always remember, we are also new at this. We are just the first sort of batch that is starting out. And never forget, we're always trying. We're always trying to better ourselves. We're always trying to make films. And we're always trying to make a living out of this as well, in Nagaland. So we will do better. But along the way, we are also hoping to create a cinema culture where people come and watch these films. People talk about, new ideas, spark new dialogue. So we just want to thank everybody that is here, faces old and new, for being with us for the next 2 days, and please enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much.
That brings us to the close of the inaugural. Thank you all for making your time to come here today, and we all hope that you have a very lovely time. So the first
So ma'am, thank you so much for speaking to us. Can you tell us a little bit about IAWRT?
So IAWRT stands for International Association of Women in Radio and Television, and as the name denotes, these are women from radio, practitioners who are in television and who are also filmmakers. We are about 500 members worldwide. It's an international organization with links to the UN. And we have a very robust India chapter with over 100 members, or almost 100 members, which is like if 500 membership in international, then 100 is 1/5. So, and every year during International Women's Year, we hold the Asian Women's Film Festival. And this year we held in March our 20th edition. So it was really a wonderful historic moment, because it is a struggle to bring films of independent women filmmakers from this region together and have them filmed, have them screened in one venue. We have to every year struggle for funding, make sure all our members do this work voluntarily. Nobody's paid for it. They're also very busy filmmakers, TV people themselves, but they give this time for this organization. And we've been able to create this brand. And as a part of that, we had plans to take Travelling Festival. We have about 50 films that show. We want to take about 14, 15 to different cities. And we had planned this trip to Kohima a long time ago, but then COVID hit, and so now we've been able to do it with the help of FAN, and it's a lovely acronym, isn't it? And with the help of FAN and IAWRT and TaFMA and Department of Information here, and many other organizations which have come forward to him.
Okay, then we would also like to know if there is any specific criteria, or is there a charge for people who wants to be a part, for women who wants to be a part of IAWRT? If they want to.
Yeah, we have you have to qualify only by being interested in film, television or radio, either a practitioner or an academic. in that field, that's also fine. You have to be interested in this particular area of work. So yeah, that's the only criteria. We have a membership fee, a very small yearly annual membership fee. So that's about it, yeah. And there's a form to be filled and there are nominations to be made. That's it, yeah.
Mary said something earlier about Nagaland's post-op stories. What would you like to explain that to us?
Well, before I came here, I had 50 messages from different people, including my sister, who's written a book on Indians in the First World War. She's written a book on a Second World War heroine, and she said, don't forget to go and see the war memorial. And that beautiful saying that is there on it, and she always repeats that particular saying. Maybe I'll read it sometime for you just now. So, and of course Nagaland, there are so many stories here. There are people's struggles, there are women's struggles. Every region in this country, we have stories to tell, isn't it? And the more vibrant media we have, which is not bringing fake news, but which is bringing real news, because it's going to the field. You know what has happened to mainstream media now, and how everything is manufactured news. And it's sad to pass that off as news. Also independent filmmaking, if many of you can do long form documentaries, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour, which is then goes to festivals. So everybody in another, sitting in Trivandrum, people get to see what's happening in Nagaland, right? We are a huge country and sometimes we don't know anything about each other. And we need to correct that, and also you need to tell your story to the world. So I am from Delhi, but I went to the south and I stayed there in South India because I said I have no problems being far away from Delhi and the studios, because south is so underreported. So there are so many regions in our country, including the northeast, which is so underreported. If it rains in Delhi, it comes in the channels. But all sorts of things will happen in south and in northeast and other regions, which will not find place. So we need vibrant, good reporters who come into, now you say which channel, all the channels have become biased. That is a challenge. But you start your own here. I would say have your own independent ones from there, so that at least even the people here get to know the correct news. Of this film which I made with 5 other women directors. One of them, Deepika, is here with me. She made the India film, and there are others from Philippines and Canada and just Afghanistan. Lots of people who came from other places, 5 of them. And we made this film called Velvet Revolution. It's about how women journalists have been increasingly under attack. And I really invite you to see that film tomorrow, because it's about the media. And earlier women journalists, both state and non-state people who don't like because we are doing truth-telling, they would at least spare us from being killed. But now they don't stop even at killing. The world over, the media rights groups are seeing a rise in the number of women journalists that are being even killed in a drastic step, because they are telling stories that those in power or others, who are non-state players don't like. So Velvet Revolution is about that. I invite you, and please tell your media friends to come and watch it. There are a lot of messaging that will emerge in the conversation that we have after that. And how it's so important. It's not to put off women to come into journalism, it's to attract more women into journalism and to say, come here, let's continue the truth-telling on media, on our people. We are only responsible for our people, for no one else, We are not indebted to any government, to anyone other than our own people, and to tell their stories. That's what a journalist's job is, to bridge the gap between policymakers and the people who do not have a voice. So if you take that as a message, that's what I think journalism should be about.
Okay, ma'am, one last question. We do have a lot of male directors or maybe filmmakers but comparatively women are low in number and there are just a handful of them. So in just a word or two, what advice would you like to give to them, and what tip would you give to them?
I'm wondering why. Look at, I've been meeting the most stunning women here from last night, and it's just a matter of time. And that ratio is there from Hollywood to even deep down south, you know, or even in Bollywood. We know that numbers of women are always less than men. It is, filmmaking has been, continues to be a male-dominated profession, but things are changing. A lot of women directors are coming forward, their work is being appreciated, and they're coming in large numbers as editors, as cinematographers, all over. I mean, you know, earlier they would just say, okay, editing, because ek jagah mein baithe raho aur kaam karte raho. That's a nice little role for, you know, I'm not trying to denounce editing. It's one of the most fascinating things in filmmaking, how you put the film together. You know, you can shoot as much as you want, but at the end of it, it has to be put in a 50-minute or a 60-minute version or a 2-minute version, whatever. So editing is extremely important. But what I'm saying is that women could do all the jobs, and they've done it. They've done it in television. In our newsroom in NDTV, we were more women. I mean, ratio was completely different. There were more women than men, you know. So we breached it. If we can breach it in some places and some institutions, why not everywhere? It'll happen. All of you will soon be, I'll be on the other side and interviewing you for a film you've made. That's the way forward. Just believe in yourself.